Welcome, y'all. Welcome to Rolling the Bottom Podcast. I am your host, Zach Moyer. Hope you are all doing well whenever you are listening to this one. Currently 9:43 when I'm filming this podcast. It is Sunday night. This podcast should hopefully be out Monday morning for you guys. It's going to be nice because I filmed my Nashville podcast Wednesday and that thing was out Friday. So, I'm already right back to the podcasting. But hopefully I can try to be a little more consistent with getting these podcasts out earlier to you guys. Ram is back in the sport for the Truck Series for 2026 and beyond, I assume. We'll talk about that either. We'll talk about that at the end of this podcast, or we'll talk about it. I'll have a little short coming out about it on my social media platforms. Also, the 2311 and Front Row Motorsports got their preliminary injunction that was granting them to be paid by NASCAR as they were a charter team, but that was overturned by the judges. And now there's a chance by Atlanta, which will be in 3 weeks, that the 2311 and Front Row Motorsports will be open cars. There will be a short from me about, a little more detail about all that type of stuff, but I still got to gather some information. But that's the two main headlines. There's a lot more stuff I'll be coming out with shorts with this past week or 2 weeks of off-season news we've heard about. Now, Michigan. We're going to talk about the Cup Series race. That'll be the majority of this podcast, how it always is, but I did want to bring up the truck race. Let me just get the name right. It was if I can find it, it was the DQS Solutions and Staffing 250. Quite a name there. But Stewart Friesian got the win. Congratulations. His first win in 72 races. A 72 race winless streak comes to an end. Stewart Friesian is a veteran. I don't know how old he is. I think he's in his 40s. A veteran of the Truck Series. A guy who's just run really consistently. He's now racing for his own team. I don't know his full backstory, Stewart Friesian's full backstory, but I know he's been in the Truck Series a long time. Like I said, really consistent. A guy who runs really well. Just never is a guy you talk about who's a dominant factor or a guy you expect to win a bunch of races. But it's great for him to get this win. Lots happened in this race. He held off Grant Enfinger to win this race. We saw 3 Cup guys. We saw Carson Hocevar, Corey LaJoie, and Ross Chastain. It was really the Corey Heim and Carson Hocevar show for the first 2 stages. Heim got the better of Carson in both those stages. Heim won both stages. Carson Hocevar finished second in both those stages. But then we had a lot of heck broke loose, a couple of wrecks, took out some contenders like Corey Heim and Daniel Hemrick and what else more. That kind of led. We also saw Ross Chastain and Carson Hocevar battle before that big wreck, and then led to Hocevar getting a tire cut down on his truck, and then led him to go to the back of the pack and kind of cost himself. I think he also then had a restart violation that cost him a chance. Because once Heim got taken out, there was a chance. I thought Hocevar had a chance there, but wasn't enough. We saw Corey LaJoie. He was in the back like 25th all day, and then big wreck happens. He gains track position. He's the lead truck then. It was the first overtime. He actually got passed. He didn't get passed. He was leading. It was 2 laps ago. He was leading coming out of turn 4, but then Daniel Hemrick blew a tire. There was no overtime restart. It didn't work out for LaJoie there because he was on older tires there, and Grant Enfinger was on newer tires. But then it ended up leading for Stewart Friesian, getting the better restart, getting around Grant Enfinger to win the race. So great for Grant. Really cool story. And it's cool because he actually is a part owner in his Truck Series team. It's really cool to kind of win in a truck that you pretty much pay for and work your butt off to drive in and make a living. Making a living in NASCAR is a hard thing to do, and especially doing it with your money too. The one that this money that he's going to now win, this money that he won from this race is now going to go right back into it, trying to build better race trucks. It's really cool. Top 10 in this race was first Stewart Friesian, second Grant Enfinger, third Luke Fenhouse, fourth Ben Rhodes, fifth Corey LaJoie, sixth Matt Craffen, seventh Luke Garcia, eighth Chandler Smith, ninth Andreas Perez de Lara, and 10th Lane, Riggs, Carson Hocevar finished 11th. And then we go down the pack here. Ross Chastain, 26th. And then Corey Heim, I believe, finished 18th. All those guys had damage that caused them not to get the respective finishes they probably were going to get if they didn't get caught in those wrecks. Now, it's time for the Cup Series, baby. Congratulations to Denny Hamlin. Gets the win. His 701st career start. Gets the W. He's also expecting a child. He also, after the race, said that he beat your favorite driver again. And he beat them all. So he brought that back. I know he said that his dad didn't like that. He said, I beat your favorite driver because he told Denny he was cocky. I guess he just brought it back. Denny feeling himself. He was feeling the crowd. I love Denny when he wins because he has so much personality and he works the crowd. He begs the crowd on. He talks about if they ain't making noise, if they ain't cheering or booing, and they're just clapping, that ain't good. And I love that about Denny Hamlin. I actually felt like him getting out of that car, it was a mixed bag between cheers and boos. So I don't know if the Michigan crowd likes Denny Hamlin a little bit more. He did do the OH, though, signal with his hands. I know he got a lot of boos, though, because we're in Michigan. Ohio State versus Michigan is probably the biggest rivalry in college football. But really cool for Denny. He becomes the 10th driver ever to win after his 700th start. I saw a stat for this. He's in the same realm as guys like Jeff Gordon, Bobby Allison, Kevin Harvick, Richard Petty, Kurt Busch, Mark Martin, Ricky Rudd, and Bill Elliott, and Terry Labonte, as all guys have won after their 700 career start. So he's in thin air. He's in rarefied air, whatever that proper word is. So really cool with Denny. I mean, you guys should count how many times I'm going to say really cool in this podcast. But it's just impressive for what Denny Hamlin can do. At 44 years old, he has not lost a step. 3 wins this season. He's right there with the big boys of Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell, who have all won 3 races this year. But I just think it's impressive at 44. Like, it's not like, when Harvick won his 2 races, I don't know how old Harvick was in 2022 when he won 2 races. He might have been 45 or 46 there. But, Harvick wasn't really considered a championship threat. Denny is, at 44 years old, a championship threat. Now, we're not going to start this whole, is Denny Hamlin a championship favorite? Because we can say he could be a championship 4 favorite, but with right now the playoff format, it all comes down to one race. So it should really be, is he going to be a championship 4 threat? And right now, Denny he's a guy you should be talking about to make that Final 4. But how did Denny Hamlin get the win? Man, we're going to start off how the end of this race happened, and then we'll kind of backtrack and talk about some parts of this race. Really, it was a long, I think around 50-lap green flag finish there. Let me see here. I do have the exact stats. The final green flag. The final green flag, it was 200 laps. So the final restart was on lap 152, and it was 200 laps. So it was a 48 green flag run to the finish. It was all about fuel saving or fuel strategy. Some guys couldn't make it. Some guys could. And Denny Hamlin was the one that was able to make it at the end. But it was really fascinating. Probably did a great job with, they had this thing called the burn meter, the burn bar. And the burn bar was pretty much showing you how much fuel they were burning / saving. So they were going off the miles per gallon. So there was times where Byron was running 5.2 miles per gallon. And then the guy, Carson Hocevar, the guy he was trying to get to Carson was running 4.8 miles per gallon. So that was really unique. Prime did a really good job of breaking that all down and keeping track with that. It actually made it a lot more fascinating, following along. I think it was good. Like, any new fan that was watching that probably felt like they had a better understanding of, what was really going on there in the whole fuel save battle, because Hocevar was, leading this pack, and he was leading, but he wasn't going to make it, but he was still saving fuel, hoping for a caution, still trying to keep the lead, and so much going on. It's really impressive, what those drivers had to do. It was Hocevar, Byron, Larson, Hamlin. Hamlin actually was able, according, getting right into it, Hamlin actually was the only one, I guess, that didn't have to worry about saving fuel. His team told him that he could go wide open and hammer down. And that's what won him the race, because all these other guys like Larson and Byron and Hocevar couldn't be as on the gas because they were trying to save fuel. But really, that's kind of how it came down. I mean, the final pit stop leading into this, Hamlin actually he got some damage there. I thought it could have been over. He restarted ninth, where I think he was inside the top 5, but that damage didn't affect him that much. I know the damage, that final pit stop with 48 to go actually really did affect, though, Tyler Reddick, because he was running top 5, and then Reddick never actually got back in the top 10. I'm all over the place, but really it came down here. Just lock in, Zach. Lock in. Who was fourth? It was Hamlin was fourth. Hamlin was fourth. Let's get into it. Hamlin was fourth. Okay. Third was Larson. Second was Byron. And first was Carson Hocevar. Lock in. Hocevar couldn't make it. He was about 4 laps short. And then Byron and Larson were around that same window where they could go a little bit longer than Hocevar, but not that much. They weren't confident about making it. But then Hamlin, who ended up falling into fourth, could go all the way. His team said, "You're good to go. Hammer down." So around 15 laps to go, Hamlin made the move on Larson, passed Larson easily, and then around that same time, Hocevar blew a tire with 19 to go. We backtrack a little bit. We need to backtrack here. But if I break it all down here, to get really simply, it ended up being Hocevar was first, second was Byron, third was Larson, and then fourth ended up being Hamlin. Well, Hocevar couldn't make it. He was ended up being 4 laps short. Byron and Larson were going to be a little bit shorter after that. They were trying to save, but in order to save enough, they would have to really get off the pace. They ended up would have been passed. But then Hamlin, who was in fourth, was the only one that his team said, "You're going to go, man. You'll be right on it, but you should be good to go, hammer down, don't worry about fuel saving." But the battle between Hocevar and Byron was incredible, though. Before all that, while these guys, Hocevar was trying to save fuel, Byron was also trying to save fuel, but he could push the issue a little bit more because he didn't have to save as much as Hocevar. Hocevar's trying to break the draft from Byron. It was insane. It was like, wow, this is fun. It's like, man, I was just worried about, how are they even saving fuel, though? And how are they even doing it? Well, and also with all the stuff that's going on with Hocevar from Stenhouse and him, when, Hocevar got in the back of Stenhouse last week, all the stuff that was talked about Hocevar, and Hocevar, here he is in first. Can he get his first career win after all that kind of stuff? Well, with 19 to go, Hocevar blew, I think it was a right rear tire. It was on the driver's side, right rear. Yeah, no, it was a left rear tire. Left rear tire, driver's side. And Hocevar's day, I think he finished like 28th. We'll check out where he finished. And then that opened up Byron as the leader. Larson was second. Hamlin was third. But then, here we go, 15 to go. Hamlin. It's no longer, Hamlin wasn't, playing conservative. He was on the attack, made easy work of Larson, and then it was another awesome battle. It was a couple lap battle there, I don't know, 5-something laps when Hamlin was trying to run down Byron. Byron was doing a good job of blocking the runs from Hamlin. Dirty air was a factor. It was all over the place. Same way that Hocevar was trying to block Byron. Byron was doing the same thing to Hamlin, trying to break the draft, but Hamlin was the one that didn't have to save fuel. And I think that's what made the difference. Byron knew he had to save fuel, and I actually think Byron was probably pushing it at the end there, just going to risk it. Because then Hamlin, they were side by side for like 4 laps, with like 6 laps to go. Hamlin got around, Byron with around 4 to go. Hamlin takes the lead, and then I think a lap and a half to go. Byron ran out of gas. And then, we saw Buescher get up there because he, I guess, was good on fuel. Ty Gibbs was really good on fuel. Ended up being Hamlin was first. Second was Chris Buescher, and third, Ty Gibbs. And I'm not sure, I think Kyle Larson might have fell in the fourth there. I have to check. If I check my finishing results, no, my bad. Larson finished fifth. Bubba Wallace was fourth. Good run there for Bubba Wallace. So yeah, it was an awesome battle. I'm kind of all over the place with this podcast, trying to explain. I'm not really good at explaining things well without seeing in front of my screen or like a replay, but that was kind of how it was. Really fun. Probably did a great job, like I said, with the burn bar. Let you know what they were running. How many what were they getting miles per gallon? How much fuel they were burning. It was fluctuating. It was fun. The telemetry from how much throttle they were using in the turns versus they weren't. Prime, like I said, did a great job. And yeah, congrats to Denny Hamlin, like I said. So we go kind of backwards with this race. I mean, yeah, pit strategy, there was so many, the way cautions fell in this race made it really just interesting. It was so hard to keep track with, where people were on fuel, and that was why I was curious on how the Hamlin, he was able to, go the whole way without saving fuel. Maybe he was saving fuel. I don't know how much he was saving fuel there after that restart, but he was good to go. But, Hendrick and Hocevar weren't good to go. So really, maybe he's got to tip your cap to Chris Gales, the crew chief for Denny Hamlin, for finding a way throughout the race to make it all work out where he didn't have to worry about saving fuel, and that's what made a difference for him, because he was able to make it the whole way to the end. Also had a nice burnout there. A lot of strategy in this race. We'll go from the top. I have a bunch of notes in this race. I realized instead of just watching the race and expecting my brain to remember everything, I now just kind of jot down things in my notes, parts in the race. So we're going to run right down through it. So stage one, Briscoe led the first 12 laps. It was Briscoe, Byron. Within a lap 12, Byron passed Briscoe. Kyle Busch fell from second to sixth in 17 laps. Buescher and Byron were battling for the lead. Hamlin passed Briscoe for third on lap 31. Pit stops on lap 33. Suarez, it was unscheduled pit stop, had a vibration. Buescher passed Byron on lap 36 for the lead. Bowman finished 32nd in stage one. Chris Buescher won stage one after passing Byron there, like I talked about. Stage two, Blaney came out with the lead over Hamlin, Hocevar, Buescher, Elliott off pit road. Blaney takes the lead on a wild restart. The restart as well, I'll say, guys, those things were wild. 3 wide, 2 wide. This race, it seemed like the most important part in these races were on the exit of turn 2 and the exit of turn 4. Because if you lost momentum, you were risking a car that had a better exit of turn 2 and 4 to have a chance to pass you. If you got side by side and raced the guy side by side, you were risking the guy behind that side by side battle to have a run on you guys and pass you guys. So it was a really momentum type race. It made it really fun. The runs were insane. 3 wide dive bombs. It was awesome. Elliott took the lead on lap 57 over Blaney. Hamlin goes from second to 11 after the restart. There was a crash on lap 60. The 42 got loose, exiting turn 2. The 4 was trying to avoid him. They both spun out. That killed the 42's day. We'll talk about the 4's day after I figure out where he finished. And then half the field, it was kind of the back half of the field pitted there, and that's kind of where the whole freaking race went all over the place when it came to pit strategy, and I kind of lost track from there, which I'm never really good with the whole pit strategy. That's why you have Steve O'Tart do an incredible job during the race to break all that kind of stuff down. Briscoe lost spots during that. Chase Briscoe lost some spots during that slow pit stop. And then there was a restart on lap 66, and then there was a massive crash on lap 67. This was the biggest wreck of the day. Looked like, I think it was the 2 got loose. The 2 got loose, and then on the outside of him was the 41, and then the 41 got loose, went up towards and smacked the driver's side of the 48, and then the 48 went head on into the outside wall in turns 1 and 2. A couple of cars spun, the 99, the 41, the 19. The 48 car, my gosh, what a hit for Alex Bowman, dude. Alex Bowman's had a rough little stretch here. I gotta figure out how he's done. Since his 5th place finish at Kansas. And the All-Star race, he finished 4th, but that was not for points. But the Coke 600, he finished 29th. Nashville, he finished 36th. And then at Michigan, 36th. He also dropped significantly down into the point standings. For the playoff point standings, I think he's currently plus 13 in the playoff point standings. Just a bad stretch for Bowman. Feel terrible for him. Hopefully he's okay. You see that, he had an interview there. You see that he was okay, but a massive hit. I mean, the back end of the car went off the ground. Big hit, but luckily those safer barriers really absorbed most of the impact. He was able to walk away. Hopefully okay. But that was a scary wreck there. That was easily the biggest wreck. Chase Elliott, after that caution, he was the leader. But then he had to pit as the leader because the fuel strategy really didn't work out for him. Rennick ended up winning the race. Oh, wait, my bad. Racetrack. I'm getting messed up here. Elliott stayed out after that wreck. There was actually a red flag also with that big wreck too, cleaning up Bowman's accident from oil spills and stuff like that. Rennick won the race off pit road after that crash. Larson was speeding and the 16 car was speeding. Larson comes around after leader pits to take 2 tires. Yeah, so Larson came back down and took 2 tires after knowing he sped up pit road. He'll start in the back. Ended up having another restart. Then the 42 spun a couple laps after that. Chase Elliott then pits from the lead. That's when he pits from the lead. He spun from the pit. Chase Elliott pits from the lead. He was leading after that crash. He also sped. But the goal there was for Elliott, I think, after being the leader, the way the fuel strategy is that he was going to be short on fuel, that if he ran long and there was no caution, he went out of the pit under green. So the crew chose to pit during that caution. He was starting the back. He sped. It didn't really matter. He was starting the back. Anyway, Byron then took the lead from Bell in the restart. Then Bell pit on lap 106. And this is where I kind of screwed up Bell because Bell was leading, pits under green, and then came right out front, behind Reddick. But then there was a crash. Blaney spun on lap 106. Wait, was it Bell? Lap 106 for a second. I'm trying to think when did Blaney crash? Oh boy. Let me see here. Let me go back in here. Blaney crashed on lap 110. And that actually screwed Bell because then he was a lap down, had to take the wave around, and that kind of screwed up Bell because if Bell would have got his lap back there during the green flag cycle after coming out on pit road with fresh tires, he would have ended up cycling to the lead because then a bunch of leaders after that pitted. Byron ended up winning the race off pit road. Bell takes the wave around and then pits. Blaney fixes toe link damage. Restart Cindric versus Byron versus Reddick. Byron passes Cindric on the final lap of stage 2. Yeah, it was a great battle there. Cindric on older tires, I believe, stayed out there. Byron on newer tires on the final lap made a great pass in turns 1 and 2. And then stage 3, after trying to explain to you guys how this race all played out through my notes, really what allowed us to have that great finish where it was a bunch of fuel saving. It all happened because of a lap 146 crash of Todd Gillen, hard crash in turn 2 outside wall. He blew a tire. That's then led to those pit stops where Hamlin had a bad pit stop. Reddick took himself out of contention, running top 5, and then we saw the great battle with Hocevar, Byron, Larson, Hamlin, which then led Hamlin to win the race, like we talked about. Now let's get into our finishing order. So Hamlin gets the win, only led 5 laps in the race. Chris Buescher, a great race for him. Won stage 1. I think he had a really bad start to stage 2. Lost track position, and the way fuel strategy pit strategy worked out didn't really allow him to stay and be up in the front top 10 and trying to control this race because he had a really fast car. I picked him to win. Led 13 laps. Ty Gibbs, a great finish for Ty Gibbs, finishing third. A finish that he needed. I think Ty Gibbs is like 31st in points, and just been having not a shockingly bad season. I know he hasn't won a Cup Series race, but for what car he's driving, I expect a little bit more from him. But this is a great, nice way to kind of hopefully be able to build some momentum going into Mexico City and Pocono and Atlanta in the Chicago Street Race. Bubba Wallace, two top tens, excuse me. Sixth place last week, a fourth place this week. Bubba Wallace, just great overall race, kept himself in contention. Great, pit strategy. I wouldn't say pit strategy, but just good job by their team keeping up with all the pit strategy going on. And then Larson. Larson didn't have that fast of a car, not like a winning car. Well, he definitely could have won this race depending on the way, the fuel saving went for his team. But definitely, he wasn't leading laps in this race, just kind of was in contention, in the top 10, but not, I expected, for him a little bit more of that winning pace speed. Didn't really have that. 6, Ross Chastain, a quiet top 10 day. Nothing more, but that red Busch Light Apple car did look pretty good. 7, Zane Smith, another great finish for Zane Smith. Led 2 laps in this race. Just a good, solid day for Zane Smith. Some strategy worked out for him. Took 2 tires a couple of times, lost some spots, but kept in the top 10. Stayed in the top 10. Just a great day for Zane Smith in that Frontline Motorsports number 38. 8th place was Kyle Busch, a top 10. Another run, a much-needed run for Kyle Busch. A top 10 for him. Stays, I think he's tied for the last place in the playoffs with Ryan Preece, who finished 9th. Ryan Preece, another day, another solid run for him. A top 10, another top 10. A guy, he didn't start off this race. He didn't qualify great. Had to work his way to the front, but made it all working out. 9th place there for him. And then Brad Keselowski, 10th. So wait a second, there was three top 10s for RFK, man. Solid day. RFK puts a lot of effort in Michigan. Jack Rouse puts a lot of effort in this track. Means a lot to him. Ford headquarters, big race. Easily, RFK was the best Ford team this weekend. 11th, Aaron Jones. Good run for him. Josh Berry, the best Team Penske car in 12th. Tyler Reddick, a guy who he led laps in this race. I thought, how many laps? Oh, actually, never mind. No. Yeah, I guess Tyler Reddick never won. Okay. I thought Reddick led laps in this race. He was up there, though. Maybe just, yeah. So I think I got some of my stuff a little bit wrong there. But no, Reddick finishing 13th. A guy who had a bad late race pit stop there. The final pit stop of the day that cost him. He was top 5 there. I think he actually could have a chance to win this race if he didn't have a bad pit stop there. Daniel Suarez, 14th. Big weekend for Daniel Suarez going to Mexico City, his home country. Chase Elliott, a guy who led 19 laps in this race, 15th. 16th, Christopher Bell, 2nd. He led 2 laps. That's what I meant to say, 2nd. A guy also who led laps in this race, but the strategy didn't work out for him. Had to pit under green. Went a lap down, and then was not going right for him. But, at least the top 20 day. Salvaged just a solid finish, an okay finish. Not what he would expect or what he expects from his team or for himself. 17th, AJ Allmendinger. 18th, Shane Van Gisbergen. 2 top 20s for guys who are really good at road courses. 19th, Austin Dillon. 20th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 21st, Justin Haley. 22nd, Joey Logano. 23rd, Chase Briscoe, the pole sitter. Chase Briscoe led 11 laps in this race, but then he got involved in that wreck with Alex Bowman that then he had damage, had to really work on that car the rest of the race. Ty Dillon, 24th. He was running top 10, I think, or right outside the top 10 there. He got a little battle there with Kyle Larson there. That was kind of fun to see. But then I don't know what happened to him. If just strategy didn't work out with him. Pit strategy kind of fell back. Lost track position. 25th, Riley Herbst. 26th, Cody Ware. 27th, Noah Gragson. 28th, William Byron, because he ran out of fuel, had to pit under green. Carson Osafar, 29, had a flat tire, had to pit under green. Michael McDowell, I think, might also ran out of fuel. But William Byron led 98 laps, most laps in this race. Carson Osafar led 32 laps in this race. Both those guys combined for the 2 most laps led in this race. Austin Cindric led 10 laps, finished 31st. Ryan Blaney, 32nd. Todd Gillen wrecked out, 33rd. 34th, John Nemechek also wrecked in this race. Cole Custer, 35th and 36th. All those guys were in accidents. A disappointing day for Team Penske, like I said kind of earlier, with Josh Berry being the best running Team Penske car. You know, Josh Berry's Wood Brothers car is preparing at Team Penske shop. Austin Cindric was 31st. Ryan Blaney, if I can find him, where was he? He was 32nd. And then Joey Logano was 22nd. Now, Ryan Blaney had damage, but overall, I mean, for a track that Ford and puts a lot of effort in, a disappointing run for Team Penske for sure. But man, 2 back-to-back Michigan races, though, to have Toyota's win is the tide changing. This usually has been Ford's playground, but not in this race. It was not. Well, guys, that was the Michigan race. I gotta say, guys, this race was really, really good. I felt like, you know, during the air was still maybe a factor, but like I said, with the restarts were exciting. The draft, the runs guys can get off the draft was insane. The daring moves, the dive bomb moves. It was really compelling. A lot of fun racing. And I mean, like, yes, we had a couple accidents there, but I mean, you would, for how crazy those restarts were, you would have expected there to be a lot more wrecks from those, but those drivers did a great job of, you know, there were some crazy blocks, and there's times that those blocks could have led to that guy getting wrecked, but maybe some of the drivers had a little more grace and not wanting to push the issue and just wreck a guy. Had a little more patience out there in the racetrack. The one thing about Michigan is it is the only track that we go over 200 mile an hour, so that was great to see, you know, especially with the Cup Series car that, you know, we're only having around 670 horsepower. To see that big 200 was cool to see. Big horsepower, I guess not big horsepower, just big speed was awesome to see. I think Prime Video did a great job of breaking down this race, explaining, you know, how much throttle these guys were using at the end of this race, how much fuel they were saving. Prime's just been incredible. I know probably people have already told everyone how great it is, and I have to agree. Out of 3 races, it's incredible. It definitely, from where Fox was to what Prime is way up there. Everyone just is, yeah. I mean, the booth is incredible. The pre-race is incredible. The post-race show, I don't know why, but I'm excited for a post-race show. I don't know why, but I love the post-race show now. I mean, Fox usually gave us like a 15-minute, they interviewed the, you know, first place, the second place, and then maybe the top 10 if they had time. But it was all off their TV schedule. But Prime, it was a good hour-long post-race show, if not more. They interview a bunch of different drivers, and it's just amazing. They do a little beer toast, too. It's just, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's incredible. And we got 2 more races with Prime, Mexico City and Pocono. Sadly, I'll be in Pocono for that, for the Pocono race. I got some exciting news, though, to tell you guys about what I'm doing in Pocono, what's going down there for myself. Pretty cool. But overall, Michigan was great. The Prime broadcast was incredible, as always. Hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Let me know what you thought. Definitely, I felt like at times I always try to do my best to do a good job of explaining it and not like, you know, talking over myself or repeating myself or, you know, going all over the place when it comes to explaining, trying to make it clean and simple. But, you know, I'm still working on that. I'm not the best at that kind of stuff, but hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did watch to the end, I really do appreciate it. Besides that, next weekend is Mexico City. Currently, the haulers are going and traveling down there right now. It's like an hour. So it's 10 hours in one day travel, and all the haulers and NASCAR are all going down together. So big weekend for NASCAR. I bet you there's going to be a lot of energy for Mexico City. I can't wait to see how that race goes down and see how the fan turnout is in Mexico City, baby. But like I said, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next week, and stay tuned to all my NASCAR content on all my social media platforms, baby. Let's go roll in the bottom. Woo!